Hello there my good people. Today I'm bringing you another special kind of upload, because not only it is the first Little Cup battle on this channel, but also on the occasion of Easter, I'm using a special theme based around it. So there is a sheep, a bunny, a chick, a bunch of Easter eggs and even a little angel. Meanwhile, my opponent's team contains common Little Cup threads, as well as some reliable walls, but although it was my first proper Little Cup match, it ended up pretty close, so let's get into it. I lead off with Baniri, just to get some free damage with a fake out, but unlike me, my opponent isn't new to a Little Cup, sees that coming from a million miles off and switches right to Freelish to take it. So because I can't touch this thing, I switch to Rolls, knowing that he won't go for a Shadow Ball, just to scout what kind of Freelish is this. With a little help from heaven, his Will-O-Wisp misses on my switch, which I have to say is pretty damn lucky for me, because my Focus Sash stays intact, allowing me in turn to leave a Shadow Ball, set up a Trick Room, and then using it go for a Destiny Bond before he takes me out with a Serve. So as a result of that single miss, he loses one of his defensive walls very early in the game. Anyway, since Trick Room is up, I bring my choice Specs Marip to abuse it and do some good damage to anything on his team. He brings his Bronzor just to set up rocks, but Thunderbolt from my Marip does from 10 to 13 HP damage to this thing, meaning that I have a little chance to take him out on the following turn, so he decides to switch to Munchlax to take another one. So I go to Execute to take his Earthquake, and then double switch to Torchic to scout if he has Fire Punch. On the same turn though, he goes back to Bronzor, probably thinking that I will just go for a Sleep Powder. Because this Torchic is supposed to attack in the Trick Room, with Quiet Nature and 0 speed IVs, even Bronzor outspeeds me outside of it and toxics me before I take him out with a Fire Blast, so knowing that he goes right back to Munchlax for a revenge kill. With 8 speed points I don't know whether he outspeeds me or not, and also I'm aware of his Fig Fat, so I just decide to do a bit of damage with Quick Attack and let him take me out. Then I go back to Baniri, hoping that he will stay in and I will cripple him with my Flame Orb, but he decides to switch to Porygon instead. Now here is the interesting bit. I haven't noticed that he trades my Clad's ability, because of which he doesn't get burned by Flame Orb and TOs me pretty much for free. However, knowing that because he doesn't want to get burned on the next switch in, he's most likely gonna keep this thing until it dies, I hit him with a return just to see how well he takes it. Without Eviolite, it turns out to be a solid 2-hit KO, but so is his Tri-Attack, so I decide to save my Baniri as a death fodder and switch to Togepi. Seeing how much another Tri-Attack did, I set up a Wish as he goes for a Recover, and then go for a Toxic to stall him out a bit. So just imagine you are poisoned, barely conscious, and at the same time this orb is burning your hands, but you can't let it go. Yeah, that Porygon is not having a fun time. So seeing that this matchup doesn't work out for him, he goes back to Munchlax, but return still does only 1 HP more than my Wish recovers, so then he decides to bring Big Guns out and switches again to Krogong. I set up another Wish on his switch, but obviously I don't want to stay in against this thing, so I pass it to my Execute instead. He goes for a Taunt and then hits me with a Sucker Punch, but because of my max defense investment and Eviolite, it doesn't do much and I take him out with a Psychic. Now in comes Mienfoo, and I know the only reason he will send it in is to WoJtOn out of there, so I Death Fodder my Baniri and then go right back to Execute as he brings his Porygon. I survive a Shadow Ball with 2 HP, set up a Trick Room again and then go for Explosion, but even with toxic damage he survives it with 1 HP, so Marip has to finish it off with a Thunderbolt. He goes back to Munchlax now, and I don't think I can survive an Earthquake, so I bring my Togepi yet again to take it. Right there though, I make a huge mistake by not going for a Protect and just letting him take me out, because as it turns out, even though my Marip like a Torchic is a Trick Room attacker, I'm still faster than his Munchlax outside of it, but he leaves a Thunderbolt with 1 HP, so that additional toxic damage would make all the difference right there, and depending what kind of Mienfoo he was running, maybe even change the battle outcome, but all in all, that is the game. So you know, right there I tend to do some kind of outro, but all I have to say today is, Happy Easter everyone! See you all next time!